how this driver managed to park that vehicle over there. Good morning, Doc, and thank you very much for your time this morning.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning. Good morning to your listeners.
I trust all is well with you.
I'm well and hearty, my brother.
Great. Now, tell us, have you taken time yourself, or have you heard of this accident?
Yeah, in fact, I saw about the accident on social media yesterday, and I was shocked, to be very honest with you. And I got very angry later in the evening when I heard the explanation from the railway minister. Now, from the explanation of the railway minister, he just said that they were on a maintenance vehicle on the railway from Tema to Impakada, and they had to make several stops because people were sleeping on the rail line. And all right, we accept that. So why don't you have a system to make sure that the integrity of the railway line is perfect before you do your test run, before you make people start using the railway line? Why the rush? Because Ghana is not the first country to construct a railway line, and especially this very railway line. You know, as a minister, about 60% of the railway tracks goes through people's farms, goes through people's villages and all of that. Surely, people will cross the railway line. Why is the government rushing? What is the rush for? Is it just for PR gimmick for people to know that, yes, the railway is working? Because I don't understand. Now, if the minister says that the person who parked the vehicle drove straight, parked the vehicle on the railway line and left, it means that they saw something. It means that something could have been done about it. Now, I'm very happy you talked about railway maintenance vehicle, because in railway engineering, well, something we call railroad shunting vehicle. Now, Peter, what is a railroad shunting vehicle? This is a vehicle that has ultrasound testing equipment for detecting defects in the rail itself. It has cameras and sensors for monitoring the overall condition of the railway line before the railway moves. Now, I have lived and schooled in China before. Now, I used to have a niece who lived about 390 kilometers away from me. And if I go visit her, I do that in less than 2 hours. Why? Because the Chinese make sure that the shunting vehicle is always on the road to clear the road, to make sure that the safety of the people is paramount. Is the railway ministry telling us from their statement that they don't know anything about this, or something is not going to be done in a country where, by virtue of the ECOWAS protocol, cattle grazing is allowed anywhere? People cross the railway line to go to their farms. I mean, their basic forms of subsistence. Women, children will be crossing the railway line. Is the minister saying that they are not going to take responsibility for this symbolic thing they did yesterday? Because in maritime transport, for example, if a vessel is launched and the vessel collides or it involves in an accident on its maiden voyage, it means that there's a problem with the system. And I need to remind the minister that they are running a railway system. They are not running a railway track. And Peter,
how do you mean by that? How do you mean?
A railway system consists of three things: a network of tracks, stations, and a rolling stock. The rolling stock is what we call the trains. So if the trains you procured, there was funfair, we've procured trains. We know that. The railway tracks have been constructed. We know that. But then it means that there's a problem with the integrity of the whole railway system. And that is what they should check. Because I don't think Ghanaians will be comfortable traveling on a railway line which is prone to accidents.
I mean,
Now,
not to cut you. There's a school of thought that will say that that's a new rail track, and for that matter, you don't expect it to be busy in order that such precautionary measures that you have alluded to, as the case may be in China and elsewhere, should warrant us go to that extent of putting in place all these preventive and protective measures.
Well, that is where I even have the problem. This very line, this very railway line between Teman and Pakadan, which was started somewhere in 2000. I mean, it was promulgated somewhere in 2007 under the leadership of, God bless his soul, His Excellency John Evans Atta Mills, actually got into the railway master plan in 2013, which was established by former President John Dramani Mahama. Now, this railway line is actually part of the what we call the Ghana Burkina Faso interconnectivity railway line. I mean, a 1,000 kilometer railway line. Okay, now it is supposed to be a cargo line because according to the railway master plan, this is a heavy railway. Yes, I mean, a heavy railway can also include passenger line. Okay, but my point here is that this is supposed to be a cargo line. But Peter, suffice to say that it's even a passenger line. Why can't the railway ministry think that the system is not ready? They should wait and make sure that the safety of Ghanaians is paramount before they launch. Unless they want to tell me that something or this was done deliberately, so that someone can cash out during the repair of the rolling stock.
To play the devil's advocate, to play the devil's advocate here, is there a possibility that it was a simulation exercise they were conducting which went wrong?
Yes, exactly my point. So if you're conducting a simulation exercise, it means that you need to check the whole line before the rolling stock starts moving. Now, I just mentioned of the railroad shunting vehicle. Now, this is a vehicle that can be deployed between 3 to 10 kilometers away from the main rolling stock. So when this very rolling stock was moving, there should have been a shunting vehicle ahead of it, so that it should have detected this accident or this truck on the track, and then they would relay the information to the main train that, look, please apply your brakes because we are just doing testing. Nothing like that was done. So clearly, someone was negligent about their job. And I think the minister should take responsibility for that and stop beating about the bush.
Now, I mean, people have indicated, when yesterday when this thing happened, there were calls about how the picture was even taken, how the photograph came about, and all of that.
That is the problem. That's the problem I have.
Now, is it the case that what we should be served with must rather be a video footage of what transpired on the stretch? Because for such a train, there must be a video camera system in there that should be able to capture virtually everything that happened on the way, and not just still photos.
I agree with you. I agree with you perfectly. And especially because it's a maiden voyage. They should have captured in a video. We haven't seen anything like that. The police claims that they've arrested the said driver. We haven't even seen a picture of the said driver, And that is why I really think this thing could be deliberate.
Why would you say it could be deliberate?
Because, Peter, if someone was able to take a picture of the truck on the railway line, and that is what is being circulated around on social media, it means that someone saw the truck. And because the picture we are seeing is a very clear picture. It's not a conspicuous picture. It's a very clear picture. It means that someone saw that. What did the ministry do? So, like I said, because it's their maiden voyage, there should have been a railroad shunting vehicle ahead of them to clear the road, to make sure that the people around, the communities around the railway line are educated. to know that this is
Maybe
very important for
there
the country.
was, maybe the clearing of the stretch was done, but immediately, I mean, like, that's what if you try to make sense of it, it's very hard, and so you'd have to forgive me. Maybe that's clearing was done, but there's another school of thought that says that immediately the clearing was done, the driver of the truck decided to move straight in there, park, and then get down from the vehicle and vanish.
No, I mean, and Peter, they should tell this to to kids, and I mean, in Ghana we say they can be, we have something in Ghana we say I don't care English you want. This is what I have seen. That it's negligence, pure negligence. This is pure negligence. And
on the part of who? On the part of who are you impugning this negligence?
I am tuning this negligence on the Ministry of Railway Development, the Ghana Railway Development Authority. They should have done a better job. So what if this is not the maiden voyage? During the maiden voyage, nothing like this happened. Then we start rolling out a passenger railway line. Then one day, someone just goes to park a truck on the train, on the track, sorry. What is going to happen? Ghanaians are going to lose their lives. There's going to be derailment. Are they going to say that they will not take responsibility for this and make sure that the whole railway system is done in a proper way? Instead of this, I would say, PR gimmick they're trying to do.
Now, before I let you go, Doc, you make allusion to a better job, better job that was not done by the ministry and, of course, its agency. Run us through what you will describe as better job in order that something like this could have been averted.
So, like I said, because we are starting now, we should bear in mind the kind of society we live in. Like I said, people who live around the railway lines are farmers. They are predominantly farmers. They go to their farms. Cattle will be crossing. If we know this, it means that we need to deploy a railroad shunting vehicle every time. And it's possible. It's done everywhere in the world. Until the people would understand that they do not need to cross the railway line. This is exactly what the ministry should have done. Now, secondly, Peter, like I said earlier, this very Tema-Impact-Adan railway line is actually not a passenger railway line. It's a cargo railway line. Now, in railway engineering, you need to have a node.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is the whole idea of reconstructing a railway line from the port is for the movement of cargo. It's not for the movement of passengers. The movement of passengers will only come as a byproduct. That is done everywhere in the world. Now, the promulgators of the idea decided that when we're going to have a dedicated container terminal, what we call the Meridian Port Services now, which handles more than 100,000 TEUs per year, it means that we need a railway line to the port. Currently, as we speak, there are no sunken tracks within the port to link the port to the main Tema-Impact-Adan line. We don't have anything like that. Secondly, like I said, this very railway line is supposed to connect the whole line all the way to somewhere Burkina Faso. So it was going to go through Hohoi, Jasikan, Nkwanta, Bimbila, Yimbi, Tamale, Waliwali, through to Bolgatanga, Paga, I think somewhere in Kankundugu, Manga, and then to Burkina Faso. Okay, now, we all know in Ghana now that import duties has risen so much, and people need to ask themselves, why has import duties increased? Now, import duties have increased so much because the port is not making money. Government needs to generate a lot of funds from the port. Now, we are having a lot of cargo shifting to other ports, like the Lome port. Now, the Lome port handles about 90% transit containers that comes into the port. That all containers are coming to the Lome port. 90% of those containers are going to the Sahel regions of Burkina Faso, Mali, and all of that. Now, imagine that government concentrates on constructing the cargo line all the way to Burkina Faso. We can tap into that. Ghana can make a lot of money. Now, this very line in Burkina Faso would also have an extension into a place we call Sheini in Burkina Faso, which has very large iron ore deposits. Now, the Tema port needs a lot of money. Now, if I am a port manager, then I'll be thinking about how can we get cargo into the port. Now, this iron ore can easily be handled by the Tema port. The Tema port makes a lot of money. Then we can reduce import duties so that we don't put all those pressure on Ghanaians. So the whole idea of deciding to make the Tema-Mpakedan line a passenger line was a wrong move. Government should concentrate on making the Mpakedan line a cargo line. Because, Peter, I don't know how someone would want to run a passenger line on a line which I believe wouldn't have less than, or let me say, more than 10,000 passenger per hour per distance in a week. That the passenger throughput on that particular line is so low that government wouldn't make money. And I'm saying this because yesterday I also heard the minister saying that the fare is going to be between, let's say, 80 Ghana cedis. Now, let's say that this 80 Ghana cedis is even, I mean, it's a good price. Let's say it's a good price. It's not going to be a disadvantage to the railway business. It is not going to get competition from other modes of transport. So there wouldn't be any modal competition from the road. Because if I'm traveling from Akosombo and maybe I'm working somewhere in Afienya, I wouldn't pay 80 Ghana cedis. I won't do it. I would rather take a trotro that will charge me less than 40 cedis. So we need to think about this. Now, mind you, government needs to pay back the $500 million Indian Exim Bank loan it got for the project. Recently, the Parliament of Ghana also agreed on a $230 million budget for rolling stock. We need to pay all of this money. We cannot pay back this money if we are using the line as a passenger line. It's supposed to be a cargo line so that we can recoup the money back and then we pay back the money, the loan, I mean. You know, so when I say the right things to be done, the right thing means that let's follow what the railway master plan said. It's supposed to be a cargo line, not a passenger line. I mean, Peter, you would agree with me that not many people live on that line. And if government is rather interested in constructing passenger lines, we need passenger lines within our urban areas. We don't have a passenger. Imagine having a passenger line between Adenta and the main the central business district of Accra. Mm-hmm. That is what we need. We don't need a passenger line in the place where, like I said, the passenger per hour per distance is very low.
Okay. Now, so finally, before I let you go, what would you say to people who live along the stretch? People who live along the stretch.
For people who live along the stretch, especially farmers who will be crossing the railway lines to their work, they should be wary that we have seen that government is not going to take their safety into consideration. And they should be very careful when crossing the railway line to just save their lives. Because I was thinking the minister would take responsibility and apologize to Ghanaians that they're going to do a better job. It's very clear that he's not interested in that.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Evans Ago TETTEH, for your time this morning. We're very grateful for speaking to us.
Thank you very much, my brother.